Hey, nerds. This is Donald Gibb, Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. You know what I mean? So for all things pop culture, listen to Matt and Mooney on Subfacts. They are nerds just like you. So listen, you nerds, you better listen to the podcast or I'll find out where you live and Ogre will move in with you. So get your ears over there and listen to the podcast. Matt and Mooney are waiting for you. Bye, nerds.
Hello and welcome to Subfacts. I'm your host, Matt. I'm here with my partner in crime, Mooney. What's up, Mooney?
What's up, dude?
You know why I had to play that?
Why?
We were nerds last night, sir.
Oh, we were.
Nerds.
Yeah.
We went to a pub trivia at the Dynasty Brewery.
That was fun, man.
In Ashburn, Virginia. Yeah, it was good stuff.
I mean, I'm still seething mad about not catching the cryptogram thing.
Yeah, I will say though, Team Subfacts did make a showing. We made a showing.
You know what?
We didn't win, but we made a showing.
But here's the thing: we didn't miss many questions per round. So either there's a lot of shenanigans or there's a lot of smart people.
There might be some shenanigans. I'm not gonna lie. We looked like the smartest people in the room. So I
there was
think there was
some shenanigans. I mean, you lost. I mean, by average of 2 points a round, we were losing by, and I'm sitting there going, "Well, how does people get everything right?"
Yeah, I know, crazy.
No,
I'm pretty sure there was some shenanigans going on.
I saw some cell phones. I'm not gonna lie. I saw some cell phones.
All in all, it was a good time.
It was awesome.
We had fun, and so I'm sure we'll be back probably next week. But anyway. That's
the prizes aren't what they say they were, so
it's all good. It's not about the prizes; it's about the thrill of competition, sir.
Yes,
Boom.
Yes, indeed. A little upset by the actor question round too, because they did some stupid movies.
I'm not gonna lie,
Squid and the Whale.
I feel like I
Room with a View.
Myself. Yeah,
come on.
No one saw that.
No one's seen Squid and the Whale. The director of Squid and the Whale didn't even watch it.
Dame Judi Dench should never be an answer of any question other than who do you not want to see in a movie? That would be the only
answer. Yes, exactly. Judi Dench sucks.
No offense to her.
Our guest might have something to say about
that. Thank you, Brian. We do have a special guest in the studio today.
She's not good. Judi Dench is not a good. I mean, I shouldn't say she sucks. But she's not. No one ever goes, man, can you put Judi Dench in a movie?
So our guest,
unless you're from England,
exactly. So
really,
she is beloved.
What?
Yes.
Why?
That's why she's a dame.
You don't get to be a dame unless you're beloved by your people.
But why?
She's been in so many things. We grew up with her.
Meryl Streep's in a ton of things, and I don't consider her like the champion of American actresses.
No, but she's very popular.
Most people do.
She's very popular. Most people do.
Yeah. Dame.
You're just not her demographic, I guess.
Yeah.
But she's never is she the one who plays?
She hasn't done a movie.
She's cute, right?
What's that?
Yeah, she is.
That's about the only time I like.
Me personally, I'm not a huge fan. So I wouldn't go out and see a movie just because she's in it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I'm just saying that I understand that she is popular.
Yeah, she's popular by everyone. People are going, oh my God, I love her. And then behind closed doors, they never see a movie.
I think the problem is she hasn't done anything with Stallone yet. I think that's the problem. If she was in a movie with Stallone.
If she's in Expendables, that would be awesome.
That would be pretty dope. So Dame,
I'd love to see her blow people up.
Do I call her just Dame? Like, is that or do I say Mrs. Dench? Or
I don't know how that
Dench?
works.
I don't know.
Okay, it's not like
Dame
Sir.
Dench
Is Dame like Sir?
Yeah.
Maybe it's Mom. I don't know.
Is Dame like Sir?
Yeah, it's like being knighted, right? It's like being, like Sir Paul McCartney.
We're asking you. So
yeah, as an expert on all things
English culture,
I believe it is the female equivalent of Dame, but I'll wait for the letters to come in and correct me.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm wrong.
Because I know, they call him Sir Patrick Stewart. I never call him Sir Patrick Stewart.
Just you would if
or
you
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Sir Lewis.
Is he really a sir?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Same with Ian McKellen.
Is David Beckham a sir?
Don't believe so.
Ian McKellen's a sir, but I won't call him a sir.
How is Lewis Hamilton, whatever his last name is, how is he a sir when David Beckham is isn't he like a bigger athlete in England? Or not so much?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say that he's bigger, and I think
Hamilton.
think with being knighted, it's more about what you do. It's not just about sport. It's about what other things you do, extracurricular type things for communities and charity
so
work.
He probably did some hardcore stuff where like
hardcore.
And you've also got to consider as well that given his ethnic background, I mean, it's a huge story. He came from nothing. I mean, if you go look at the story of Lewis Hamilton and his dad and how they came up through racing in karts, that it's still an expensive sport. I mean, his dad was like taking the throwaway tires from the rich kids and building go-karts out of scrap parts.
Really?
It
And his
is
kid
pretty
is now,
hardcore.
like 7-time world champion because, his dad and he just kind of worked their butts off.
Awesome. See?
It's an awesome story.
Good story.
See, I'm glad, folks, we never even actually introduced him, but you know the voice because you've heard him quite a few times on our show.
Yes.
So we have Andy from Creative Underground.
What up?
.co,
not
.com. How are you doing, Andy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. It's going to be a fun one.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, cool. Well, before we get into this whole thing, we have one thing we have to do.
The must. Really good music someone put together for that. I mean,
yeah, I don't know who was in charge of all the music of Subtitles. It'd be creativeunderground.co, not .com. Okay, what's up,
Hey,
Brian?
all right, here's the warm-up this week. There may be a theme to this warm-up. The first question is, which celebrity that's not primarily known as a musician has the best rock band?
what?
Oh.
Huh. Like, I don't know.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
can't really answer this because I don't know many
I think
celebrities that do.
I think there is actually a real answer to this, and whether you like them or not, but you have to admit that there's a reality to them. I've seen them live. Is 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yep, that's mine too.
Because
Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto. I think he's definitely known more for being an actor than a musician. But 30 Seconds from Mars to Mars is pretty huge.
He probably does have the most commercial success.
Me personally, I want to see Corey Feldman. You know this. I know you guys have already told me to stop.
Feldman. What's his band again?
It's the Corey Feldman
It's
band.
called Truth Movement.
Truth
His
Movement?
band's called
Okay.
Truth Movement.
Wow.
I know you guys have told me to stop sending you the TikToks of him playing.
Yeah,
in
I
the
still
band.
see them and they're insane. They're hilarious. Like, I want him to play the Super Bowl.
If he plays the Tally Ho, I'm 100% going.
I'd watch him instead of what's her name?
What's her name?
Rihanna.
Oh, I would too. But I think a Corey Haim halftime Super Bowl show would be amazing.
So
but if he comes to Tally Ho,
Feldman.
Corey Feldman, yeah, it's all good.
Haim would be really hard.
That would even be rough to watch. But but Corey Feldman, if he plays the Tally Ho, I'm 100% going to be there, and I will be front row doing my own TikToks.
Didn't Bruce Willis have a band at one point?
I like that. I had the Return to Bruno. Yeah,
I had the album also.
I stand by his version of Under the Boardwalk. People think I'm crazy, but
I like that version too.
I loved it. I thought it was
Bruce
one of the
Willis?
best versions. Oh, it's fantastic. Love it. You should You should YouTube it when you get a chance.
Okay, I will. I had no idea.
His version of Under the Boardwalk was fantastic.
All right.
So I thought of this because I came across.
Thank you for seconding that, because most people think I'm crazy.
I came across Juliette Lewis's band, Juliette and the Licks, on YouTube, and I actually liked it.
Okay.
So
I thought she had another band. There was another. Who am I thinking of? Taryn Manning has another band. Has a band too.
Oh my God! You just said Taryn Manning. Holy.
Oh,
cow.
CDO. When we were roommates, that was his. Like, he loved some Taryn Manning.
Really?
I never found her attractive myself,
either.
but that was his thing. We had to go see the movie Crossroads because she was in it.
And it's a little surprised because I like Dirty Girls a little bit, and she looks dirty.
She's definitely a dirty one, but she has a band, and I don't know what it's called, but it's like Smelly Cat or something like that. It's not the Phoebe one, but it's something with a cat in it. But
okay.
But I think he went out and bought the CD like the day it came out.
Oh my God.
Big fan of the Taryn Manning, that CDO.
All right. Next question. If you were a rock star, what guitar would you choose for your signature look and sound?
Well, Andy is a rock star, so we should start with him.
Yeah, it's there's a bit of a mismatch for me because my guitar of choice for sound is a Fender Telecaster, and it was always the guitar when I was growing up that I thought was the ugliest of all the guitars. When I would see people with them, I always thought to myself, "Oh, why do people pick that guitar? I just was not a fan. And then about 15 years ago, I was working on an album for a client, and they left me working on their album, and they said, hey, do whatever you have to do. And if you need to retrack guitar tracks, my guitars are hanging on the wall. Just pick a guitar, amps there, just go for it. And I picked up this silver sparkled Telecaster that this guy had, plugged it in and started playing. And I was like, oh, that's why. That's the sound I'd been looking for. It felt like home. It was like it was like meeting your wife. It's like,
wow.
And I had always thought that these guitars were ugly, but this is my guitar of choice for sound and for the way it feels and everything. Now, in my mind, like for the way I would want to be portrayed, I've always wanted to be in like a big metal band. So like the big BC Rich guitars with like, the crazy
like
looks.
The Kerry King, crazy.
Like the F-holes
like
and stuff in them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like back in the day when I was playing in Industry Overflow, I had these like crazy looking guitars with, weird shapes and, because that was the style of music we were playing. It was aggressive and intense, and it kind of matched our personality well. But now maybe as I'm getting older, like the Telecaster all the way.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I mentioned it on the show. I started picking up my bass again. Like year of 2023 is me learning the bass. And so every night I've been like kind of putting it together.
And so which guitar would you choose?
Well, see, this is,
but you would choose a bass type of guitar.
So for me,
but they have similar shapes though too in bass guitars.
Yeah. Like I love the Jackson bass that I have. It's the same one that Dave Ellefson from Megadeth uses.
So it's like a Stratocaster shape.
I know who it is.
Our listeners might. So it's got a good look to it, and it's got like the like nice headstock, I guess, that Jackson uses.
The headstock is like the trademark.
Of Jackson.
It's like you. And it's such an icon for metal as well. Like rock and metal, like there's so many famous guitar players that have used Jackson guitars that you just see that headstock and you know what you're getting into.
Exactly. But I will say, I'm not going to lie, and I was going to get your thoughts on when people do like signature, guitars and stuff like that. How cheesy is it for somebody else to buy the signature? Because I'm sitting there going, now that I'm looking in bass.
So that's a Stratocaster on the wall, right?
That one over there.
The one over there.
Isn't that a Stratocaster?
No.
Yeah. The other one that you're looking at is
this here.
It's a Stratocacoustic.
It's a Stratocacoustic. It's got the Fender Stratocaster headstock to it, but the body's an acoustic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so the one I'm eyeing at the moment is I'm not going to ever buy it because I can't afford it. Is the Steve Harris Fender it's the Fender Pro Bass. But it's the Steve Harris.
Is that the blue one that he has?
It's the blue one with he's got the West Ham soccer logo on it.
Yeah.
Which is what you would appreciate, because you would have a Jets logo on your.
Oh my God, absolutely.
And like, so this guy's like huge in the world of metal bass, right? And he's got his favorite football team, for lack of better terms, on his bass.
That's pimp.
And I'm thinking that's got you would have a Jets something.
Absolutely.
On it. So,
or I would have all sports teams.
So he's got a Fender
like
P
Jets,
bass.
Islanders, Knicks, Yankees.
Yeah. So it's a Fender P bass with his logo, his team
That's
on
pimp.
it. So you would do something.
So I have the I think I showed it to you when we went to the show. I have the Iron Maiden sweatband, which is in the West Ham colors, because he plays. Has always played with a sweatband because of where his arm rests across the bass when he plays the bass.
Yeah,
he's always worn.
Did you get that added? Like, did they throw it to you or
no? I bought that.
You bought it. Okay.
I bought that probably when I was about 15. First Iron Maiden show I ever went to as a kid.
Oh, by the way, on eBay, I looked into those because I was kind of like, just to be kind of stupid. And if I'm going to be practicing and trying to emulate this guy, get his wristband. Oh, on eBay, they're like $300.
What?
It's ridiculous.
For one or for a pair? Because I know what happened to the second one of mine. I used to have two and I lost one.
Dude, we could flip those things.
Oh my God.
And some of them are caught from shows, but then some are just perfectly in package. Like there's no way.
That's insane.
Wow. I don't get it.
I personally would get the Explorer. I love that. That's a good look.
The Explorers.
Yeah, the Explorer's cool. James Hetfield all the way.
That's a what?
James Hetfield.
He plays Explorers and Flying V's.
Okay. I don't know what band does he play.
Flying V's scare me.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a problem with the design of the Flying V. If you sit down to play it, it slides off your leg.
Yeah, because it's supposed to isn't it supposed to curl into your leg or whatever?
It's just horrible design for playing on unless you're standing up.
It just scares me.
But it looks cool.
The SG has a similar design flaw where it just flops over If you drop it, if you let go of the
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Explorer all the way.
Boom.
Yeah.
There you
The
go.
gem looks pretty cool too.
Well, nobody picked the Les Paul because the sustain is crazy.
I like the
It
Les
just
Paul.
keeps
The Les Paul would be my
going.
choice.
You can hear it. Les Paul's your
That would be
choice.
my choice.
You play a guitar though. Like you're like me. You just started picking up your guitar,
Well,
right?
yeah, like I played guitar since like I was like 13 years old, and then I hadn't
Oh.
played for a long time, and then I recently picked it up again and started playing again.
So what bougie guitar are you
Oh, yeah.
rocking?
So
at
I
the
don't.
moment?
I have I have several guitars. I have an old Kramer
Oh, wow.
Striker ST 600 from way back in the day, because that's what like all the metal people
Do
played.
you have the Eddie Van Halen Frankenstein?
No, but
Like-
I don't. It's not like that. It's just black. And
Did
then
you hear it?
I've got
Right.
a Les
Bouge.
Paul style like ESP. It's an
Okay.
LTD. It's not a ESP. Like it's their cheaper version.
Yeah. Like
And then I have a
Squire.
Squire Telecaster.
Oh, there you
Oh.
go. Boom.
So you know what I've noticed as well as I've been
Bouge.
getting older is becoming a factor in guitar choice as well is the weight of the guitar, which is why I don't like playing Les Pauls because they're so
Heavy.
damn
It is
heavy.
my LTD style, which is a style in this. It's a EC1000. It's in that shape, and it is heavy. It's like the heaviest guitar I have.
Yeah. I mean, they're beautiful looking guitars. The
Mhm.
design is just spectacular to look at. But if you're wearing it for more than half an hour and your back starts to lock up,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
give me something lighter.
It's like the Jackson has Nita Strauss signature. It's called the Jiva, and she has it like weighted perfectly that she can just kind of hold it on her palm, like the whole thing just rests like perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly. She's like it's extremely light, so if you're doing shows, it's no issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
It still has stuff to it. So check out the Jiva Jackson. Boom.
Nice.
Boom.
Cool. Next question. Dave Grohl describes Pantera as the greatest metal band of all time. Is he right? Is there a better metal band?
It depends on the
Like, I
type
don't
of-
know what people would consider metal bands.
I guess that's the thing is it depends on the type of metal because some people will go, oh, Skid Row's metal. I don't think they are. Some people would say
they're not metal. They're like hair metal, which is different.
And there's
They're glam.
there's
They're like
new
almost like
wave
glam rock.
genres as well of
there's
metal.
death metal. That
But what would it be a traditional metal band? So what would he be comparing them against?
because like thrash metal's in its own little genre too. So you can't go.
Okay, can you answer the question?
We're trying to figure it out.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
What is the question?
In your opinion, or your two's opinion, when he says this, what do you think he's comparing them to? What would be obvious choices that he would be comparing them to? Like the obvious metal
But
bands.
here's the thing.
I don't want to go down rabbit hole metal bands.
Dave Grohl, I've been listening to his book, loves everybody. So he says this is the greatest. He said Motorhead at one was the greatest. So he's saying, I think he's looking at all genres. So I don't really know what, as far as
Like, is Metallica a metal band?
Yes.
yes,
They used to be considered thrash, but I
They-
would call them metal.
they're more metal now.
Is
Yeah.
AC/DC a metal band?
AC/DC, I would put them more hard rock, but people would classify them as
I'd
metal.
say
I mean, they
hard
show
rock.
up in metal magazines.
They
and-
do.
But
Absolutely.
But Twisted Sister is hair band.
That's glam. You could say glam rock or
Glam
hard rock.
Okay.
But Dee Snider might tell you it's metal. It depends on how he looks at it.
Right.
So that's where it's hard to say. I personally love Pantera. I don't think
Yeah, you're paying a lot of money to see Pantera.
I got a free gift card, sir. I didn't pay anything. Somebody else did. So I love Pantera. I think Pantera definitely deserves to be in the Mount Rushmore of metal, generic metal, if you're going
Right.
to say. But I don't know that they're the greatest metal band of all time. As much as I've been poo-pooing Metallica, quite a bit, I think if you're going to put Metallica and Pantera in the same category, I'd say Metallica would win out, even though I dropped out of Metallica after like the Black Album.
Okay.
Is that fair? Or
It's fair. I don't agree with Metallica.
or you could say Slayer or
Is Iron Maiden a metal band?
Yeah.
well, they're
for sure.
considered the new wave of British heavy metal. But they're not like I don't know that they would play together necessarily. They probably would on
It's
a
still,
show.
but it's still metal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if
I would
if
definitely
it shows
put
up in
Maiden
Metal
over-
Hammer or Kerrang or one of the metal
Yeah.
magazines, it's metal.
I would definitely put Maiden over Pantera.
Yeah, same.
I would too.
And quite frankly, I'm putting them over Metallica, basically.
And
at
same
this
too.
point.
And I
Yeah.
think they've influenced a lot of these bands that came along after, like the Metallicas and the Panteras,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be there if it weren't for the Iron Maidens and some of
And
those
the Judas
early
Priest of the-
metal bands, Judas Priest, exactly.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Judas Priest. I like them.
So it's kind of a yeah. So I can, as much as I love Pantera, I can't say that they're the greatest.
Wow. Okay. I
all
guess
time.
Dave Grohl's wrong.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've been listening to the book. He loves everybody. Like,
He's welcome to come on the show and
I know.
argue with on the point if he wants to.
Absolutely, but
The Return of Bruno.
Yeah, see, there's the
See,
picture.
Oh, wow.
I was laughing in my head when you guys started talking about
No
Bruce
way.
Willis.
You
I had that.
before?
I had that before. Yeah.
You didn't
Oh,
sub that
boom.
out. That was nice.
solid. Boom. Way to go, Nostradamus.
Sweet.
Okay. So, folks, now we actually have to talk about stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. I wanted to mention something that came up last week. What?
I thought we were going into the MB.
Oh, yes. You know, good for you. You're paying attention. It was just a test. Just a test.
No, you got it. You're geeking out with
Okay, well,
Andy here on music. So.
I am. So here's my wife's favorite part of the show.
Mailbag. Okay, folks, it's time for mailbag. Mailbag.
She says I don't play your mom loud enough. So
What?
yeah, she was like, it's my favorite part of the show, and you don't ever have the volume high enough. And I'm like,
I mean, it's designed to be played through like a subwoofer, so the whole house shakes. Or
Yeah.
if you got it rolling in your car, like everyone at the stoplight can hear you. You know.
I think that's what it is. But she wasn't here when your parents were in the
You know
studio. I think your mom would be like a celebrity to my wife.
Dude,
if
I just had a
we made that happen.
genius idea number.
Can I get a cameo from your mom to my wife? 'Cause
Yes, of course.
she would love it.
Genius idea number 8001 for the show.
Sure.
Like all the people say they like the mailbag clip. Imagine we like sold it out to like other shows that have mailbags.
Good point. We could.
We could sell it out. We could sell the clip.
Mrs. Mooney.
Technically,
Is your mom
if
gonna want a
anyone's selling
royalty?
it out, it should probably be the guy that wrote the piece.
That's-
that's
plus
what-
your mom
that's what
because
I
we're using her
said.
sample.
That's why I said
That's
it's
true.
it's like a combo. Like it's my mom
Right.
and it's the show and you produce. So it would be like we all get a little bit of
Get
it.
a little
There you
piece of
go.
the royalties.
Absolutely. I'm not selfish here.
Good. Okay, Brian, can you make that
Sure.
happen?
Yeah. All right, sell it out.
All right.
Make sure you
So
answer
the email this week is from Rob from Leesburg, and his subject is subfactspodcast@gmail.com. And he says, Brian, please read and spell out the subject of this email. I already read it. I'm not going to spell it, but I read it. And he said, he told Matt and Mooney in year 1 of Subfacts that they need to say subfactspodcast@gmail.com at the beginning of every episode so people know where to write into.
He's not wrong. I just feel like I say it a lot.
Is that like
at
is
some
that
point during the
stopping
show.
people from writing in?
I guess
He makes
I
a
guess
good
the
point.
inference is that people don't get to the end of the podcast to hear that.
Well, then do we want emails from them? 'Cause
No,
then
we
they're-
do. It would just be fun. I want to hear somebody that goes, "Look, your show kind of sucks, but I'm only good for 10 minutes." So
How
I'd
else
be
would that
okay
be if the
hearing
email
that.
came in? Hey, I can stomach you guys for a good 15 to 20 minutes,
Yeah,
and then I tap out. So
yeah,
I never-
I'm fine with it. So he makes a valid point.
It's a
Are
pretty
we-
good point because I'm sure there's people that have like, say, a 30 or 45-minute commute.
Right.
Maybe they only ever listen to the first 45 minutes of an episode and miss the end.
They're missing a lot of gems.
Yeah, they are.
What
yeah,
people
we
don't
don't know when
realize,
the gems are going to strike in the
I
show.
think what people don't realize is when we do the plugs at the end of the show, that's when some of our best stuff actually happens.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They
So
should
fast
fast forward to
forward,
the end.
yeah.
Listen to the end first.
Yes, exactly.
Play it
Or listen
backwards.
backwards
Mhm.
and just hear the devil.
He,
That would be awesome. If we could pull that technology off, hell yeah.
so Rob goes on to say, Mooney, do not waste your precious time on Avatar. He says his wife and he walked out of the theater and said, how do they get back their last 3.5 hours? Visually, the movie is amazing, but the plot sucks. and you will need to wait to movie number 3 to actually get an ending to this movie.
By the way, you may need to wait to end movie number 5. Or 4. There's 3 more coming.
It's funny you should mention that. I mean, I was going to hold off on a story. No, do you want me to share it now? But I was waiting for movies of the week to talk about that very subject.
Share now.
There you go.
So I decided after I got back from England, I've been waiting for Avatar, this new
It's
Avatar
like your favorite movie. Like
the first one was like
first one was awesome.
And it caught me by surprise because I didn't watch it when it came out at the theater. I was like 10 years late to the party, and I felt.
You didn't see it when it came out in the theaters?
No, because there was all this.
Still liked it.
There was all this like hoopla about it, and I saw the cover. I'm like, why would I want to see a movie about blue aliens or something?
I still feel that way, and I saw it in the theater when it came out.
Yeah, the only reason I liked it is because the theater. It was pretty wild stuff.
Visually,
that they came up with.
visually, it was amazing. But 15 minutes into it, like fireworks for me or anything, I get bored.
See, for me, the visuals were a big part of it, but it was the fundamental intelligence behind that movie, and so many very smart truths about like the way our society is heading and the way we kind of ravage the planet and for profit. There was so many things in that first movie. I'm like, this is really clever. The way he's kind of like positioned this to make us really consider the way we treat one another, the way we treat the planet, the way we treat indigenous people. I'm like, it's genius. It's brilliant.
I didn't go that far into. I just kind of watched.
Oh, maybe watch it again. The first movie, it's very clever.
It's basically a ripoff of the movie Fern Gully.
Yeah, it's a huge ripoff of that.
Yeah,
I've actually never seen that.
It was
so
like
maybe
a cartoon that came out when we were kids.
It's a humongous ripoff.
Unobtainium.
Yes, whatever.
But I mean,
that was the rock they were looking for.
I guess I sort of noticed the underplot, but I like kind of
that was the main thing though. That was the main plot
of Avatar.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know, but I don't go for the deepness of the movie. I go to be entertained and watch. And
you want blue people flying on dragons.
That's exactly. I don't go for the underplot and go, oh wow, this is true to real life, and the corruption and the crap we go through every day. Like I can watch the news. Like I don't want to watch Avatar for that. No, I want to see blue people.
I don't even know how to respond.
I want to see blue people flying on dragons, like you said, shooting things
for 3
taking
hours.
down the bad guy.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't need to be visually stimulated. I mean, mentally stimulated.
That is true, sir.
Anyway, so you saw number 2.
Can we isolate that clip, by the way? Listen to this show, folks. I don't need to be, what is it, mentally stimulated?
Yeah, I don't need to be mentally stimulated.
So yeah, I missed the first one by about 10 years. Loved it. So I was excited for the second one. I've been saying to my wife for the longest time, so excited, got to go see this. And she had never seen the first one. I'm like, you want to go see it? We'll go see it together. Maybe watch the first one first so you know the backstory. As it turned out, we didn't have time for her to watch the first one. So date night rolls around.
Oh, this is a first experience.
Yeah. So it's the first one. I'm a little nervous because I'm like, I don't know if the second one's going to be any good. And having not known the backstory to the first one, but she was happy to do it. We were just happy to have a night out together. And I'm like, listen, if we're going to do this, let's do it. I had already looked at the options for where we could go see the theater. I'm like, the first one, the reason I kicked myself about not seeing in the theater was that I missed out on watching it in 3D on a big screen. It's one of the reasons I put in a movie screen in our house was so I could, watch it in 3D, right? So when I'm looking at options to watch the second one, I found that they had a 4D version. Like,
oh wow, they shoot water at you and stuff?
Yeah, I'm like, well, no. So 4D.
This movie's in feel around.
4D is when the chair moves.
Oh, okay.
And I had seen there was a Formula One movie about 5 or 6 years ago that I saw in 4D, and it was awesome.
That the one in Cop Theater in Leesburg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was awesome because, you really felt like you were in the car. There was a lot of scenes where like you were in the cockpit, and I'm like, this is amazing. So I'm like,
me nauseous a little bit.
I'm like, I'm all in for Avatar 2 in 4D. And then I saw that there's 4DX. I'm like, what is the X? I'm telling my wife, I'm like, we got to check this thing out. Like,
right. Might as well. If you're going 4D, may as well add the X.
Yeah,
let's go all in. And it turns out that the X is you get the smells and the squirting water. And I mean, it's the whole thing.
I went to Niagara Falls years ago, and by the falls, there's a bunch of gimmicky things, and they had a 4D movie. I didn't know what I was in for, but it was like a 3D movie, and they shot like water at you.
Yeah.
It was like a squirt gun, like of water, and then air got blown at you and
Well,
stuff.
That's what 4DX is.
We got blown
in Brambleton
in the theater.
We got blown.
and it's the chairs moving.
Mhm.
You're getting squirted with water when there's like splashes
Oh, wow.
in the scene.
You sure this was a movie or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
and there's like smells being released.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I overlooked and I really didn't consider, that the movie is 3.5 hours long.
Oh, it's way too long to take.
No, yeah,
You're
you
getting
got
jostled around in your seat, getting squirted with water, and smells being released for
Yes.
3.5 hours in a movie that I'm sorry to say is subpar. It's not good.
Yes. So Rob's right there then.
Yes, he is
Which,
absolutely.
it just
100%
reminded me
right.
of something. I
I was
saw.
gonna, can,
I
do
saw.
they have a 40X for a certain type of movies? Or?
That was what I said to my wife. I'm like, we picked the wrong movie to go see.
the various smells being released in the movie theater just
Yeah.
made me laugh because I saw a meme and earlier in the week, and it basically said like, if you rip, you're supposed to say, "Do I smell popcorn?" So the people around you take a big deep whiff.
Oh no!
I did it to the boy tonight. We were eating dinner, just him and I. The wife's away, and I was like, "Do I smell popcorn?" And he immediately just goes. He's like, "I hate you, Dad."
Oh my!
So, like, I don't know why. When you're in Avatar, and you're like in the smells. I'm like, "Yep, I've been there."
They should do stripper smell for that though.
Oh, if they could pull that off,
That would be awesome.
So my expectation, we were in Disney last February, and if you go on some of the rides there that they have now, the one that springs to mind is the Ratatouille ride. You're on this kind of like cart zipping through the restaurant, and you can smell the bread baking and all these different things being cooked. It's incredible. I mean,
that's awesome.
Cool. Really cool experience. So that's kind of where my mind's at.
Yeah.
When I'm thinking 4DX, I'm thinking, Ratatouille, but no, it was like one smell through the whole movie
I
of
couldn't
the
last
ocean.
3.5 hours in the rumble seat.
I don't think the rumble seat like that. Like when I go to like
rumble
Disney
seat
and
was
stuff
bad.
like that, I get nauseous now. When I was a
could do
kid, I was
maybe
all
like an
about it.
hour, but no, I mean, I would get.
Yeah, it was
I'd
not
get-
a good choice for date night.
Yeah,
No.
no. Yeah, what can you
failed,
do?
sir? You failed.
Well, hey, the
Yeah.
good thing is you're married. It's not like,
And we have
you know.
we have a fun memory too. I mean,
Yeah,
we
there
have
you
a
go.
story to share.
Absolutely. We got a bunch of other things to talk. Actually, Brian, I'm sorry, is Rob
Yeah,
still?
we've got more of the email to go. So he says, Matt, if you've not watched already, he highly recommends the show Wednesday and Only Murders in the
Love it.
Building. If he,
Love
I
them
think he
both.
missed a couple episodes where we talked about those. So,
Absolutely.
and then
I hyped him both.
and then he
quite
says,
a bit.
FYI, he says he heard there was an uptick in sales of Rolling Stone magazine. It coincides exactly with the subfacts making fun of the top 200 best singers list. He says, well done on promoting Rolling Stones magazine. So that,
I like to think it's we've got our finger on the
Yeah.
pulse of society.
Absolutely, we
You
do.
know?
so that's that is the
Whoops,
email from
Thank
Rob.
you,
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. What?
He's talking. I mean, what is he gonna do from now? What he's gonna do like 4 weeks from now? You guys should recast Grease.
I know he should be up on his.
Yeah,
his-
exactly.
Which, by the way, it made me laugh when we recast.
Any other emails?
No, that was it. We recasted Grease last week, folks, and I thought it was a great episode. I went back and watched it, and it reminded me of a situation. I was meaning to tell it on the show last week, but we just never got around to it. But back in the day, like Brian and I used to work at a local hardware store that no longer exists called Heckinger, and so I was not driving or didn't have a car. I was probably 18.
You're either
I
you
think
don't
I
have a
was like-
license, you don't have a car.
I don't remember how old you had to be to work there, but I feel like I was like 17, 18 type of thing. I think Brian
No,
was
there
in
were
the same
there were
boat.
kids there that were like 15.
Okay, so maybe I could have actually been young because I know I worked there when I was in high school. So one of those things. Anyway, besides the point, I didn't have a ride. And so when you close out the store, like I always did those like closing shifts, you know, because it was like the after school, then you go,
Sure.
you work till they close. And everybody leaves, and sometimes you sit around in the parking lot and you hang out. So we go to leave, and I realized, my mom was supposed to pick me up. And so I'm hanging out. I don't know if Brian was there, but one of our friends, Kevin, was there. And so I'm hanging out. I'm like noticing my mom's not there. And so I call her, and this was before I had cell phones. I'm literally
you walk
calling
back
from
into the
the
store.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I call her. I'm like, hey, hey, where are you? And she's literally like, I know I'm supposed to pick you up, but I'm watching Grease and they're at Thunder Road. She was like, I can't leave yet.
What?
She goes, and I was like, what? And she goes, they're about to do Thunder Road. It's on Grease. It's on TV, and I can't leave. And I was like, we own the movie. I was like, we have it on VHS. I was like, I'll literally fast forward it to Thunder Road
as soon as we
get home. And she goes, I can't. I'm just into it. It's way too good. Can you find a ride home?
What?
So fortunately for me and my boy Kevin was still hanging out.
Son, can you find a ride home? Because I'm watching Grease.
She's like, I'm watching Thunder Road. So then I'm like, so Kevin, my mom's kind of watching Thunder Road. Do you mind on Grease? Do you mind? Can you take me home? And he was like, what? And I was like, so my mom can't pick me up because she's watching Grease on TV and they're at Thunder Road.
She couldn't pick you up because she was watching a movie.
No. So then he did. He took me home and all that. And the next night they were working. He's like, does your mom plan on watching any other movies before we leave? Or
right, exactly. Like, is it round 12 in Rocky? And like,
yes. And I'm like, who does that? But anyway, yeah, I got ditched because of the movie Thunder Road.
That's insane.
And yet Grease is still one of my favorite movies.
You can just play the movie and fast forward it.
Yeah, I literally by the way, I'm being nice about this. The conversation on the phone was a little. I was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "We own it. I can have this done like as soon as we get there."
Yeah, as soon as I get home.
And then I was yelling at her when I got home of, why would you watch it with commercials and it's edited for TV? That's the stupidest thing in the whole wide world.
Exactly.
Which I refuse to do. Like, especially if you own the movie.
Yeah, if you own the movie, you got to watch the real thing.
Yeah. Oh, it was awful. Anyway.
Wow.
It just reminded me, and I didn't mention it on the show last week, and I wanted to get it out of the system.
That is awesome.
I needed to vent. I'm wondering if anybody else out there has had to deal with the Thunder Road issue.
Yeah.
Feel free to write into subfactspodcast at gmail.com.
Well, I mean, I've stayed up late and watched a movie on TV, but I would not pick someone up.
I can't imagine telling the boy, like, hey, sorry, Rocky's about to fight.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'll get you later.
Can you get a ride home from somebody?
So I will say, though it's not Grease or Thunder Road, but my dad in particular, he's very particular about shows that he watches, and nothing can come in the way of that. So he will plan around that. So there's been situations where I'll be like, hey, I'm planning to fly back home. Just wanted to check some dates with you. Can I fly in on Wednesday? I'll be like, Wednesday, we usually watch Emmerdale Farm on Wednesday.
That's
what?
Awesome.
No, seriously. I mean,
I'm not going to lie. I'm with him. I would be like, dude, 1,000 Pound Sisters are on. What do you want? I can't do this.
Or like if I'm trying to schedule, like, hey, can we do like a video chat, on Tuesday? I need to catch up. We got to talk about such and such Tuesday. You can't do Tuesday because Tuesday there's a documentary coming on about Scottish railways. And we've been to this. Yes. We've been on this railway. And been on that train. So no, I'm absolutely. Honestly, I used to do that with Dawson's Creek. I'm not gonna lie. When it was on prime time, I didn't have a VCR at the time, and I was like, I never played. It's like you do it with Jets football. It's the exact same thing.
There's a huge difference.
I didn't have a VCR
live event, and
if you don't have a VCR or DVR back in the day, you need to watch it right then and there because you don't know if you're ever going to see it again.
What are you? Of course, you're going to see it again.
When am I going to see it again?
Oh, okay. So let me go back in history. Did they not have repeats on during the week?
They always did. Not for Dawson's Creek.
They absolutely had Dawson's Creek on repeats.
In syndication later on.
No, I'll give you. There was a 4 a.m. show.
Perfect example. Show. My friend Glow, and we're going to have her on the show at some point. We'll talk about this. We almost became like not friends ever again, and she was my bestie at the time because she failed to record the final episode of Dawson's Creek. I had to actually go on eBay and buy the VHS copy of it so I could watch it.
So what's wrong with that?
She failed.
So check this out.
That's the situation. I'm with your dad.
But in England, even if you can't figure out how to operate a DVR or operate some kind of like, the BBC iPlayer or any of those like cloud-based on-demand services, even if you're of an age, let's be kind and say that you don't know how to use those services. There in England, we have a channel like ITV, for example, and then it has an identical channel called ITV+1, which is the exact same programming offset by 1 hour. In case you miss your show, you can watch ITV+1 to watch your favorite soap opera an hour later. So there's never a reason.
ITV+4 or like
it's just each channel +1. But it's designed for people like if you missed your show or it competes with another show, you can still watch it again later.
I have never, ever been that invested in TV show where I know, but to watch.
But you can at least understand. You can at least understand from your Jets perspective. You absolutely will not travel or go on vacation if the Jets are playing.
It's a sporting event. But it's different.
No, how you're passionate about that sporting event, there are other people that are passionate about that TV show, like the MTV Video Music Awards.
It's acting. It's made up.
The MTV Video Music Awards, when they were good back in the late 80s, early 90s, I used to take the day off of work because I was like, I am not missing. It was not retail. It was like retail, but it was like, I'm taking the day off because I need to be there to see it live.
Oh, my thing is, the only thing that I would probably like have to watch live is something like the Stanley Cup final, because it's like you need to know the result the same time as everyone else, because the chance of a spoiler, you can't have that. But everything else, like Formula One races and stuff, I'm excited for them, but I never get to watch it live. I end up watching it
text you and
sometimes 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
No one's going to go, oh my God, you see what happened on the last episode of Dawson's Creek?
My friends used to.
Oh my nerve.
I'm not gonna lie. Howard Stern used to watch Dawson's Creek all the time, and he used to spoil it like a champ on the show. And I listened to Howard religiously.
How could he spoil it when you watched every episode on live?
That's my point. So I'm watching it when it aired live.
Spoil it if you can never watch it
the
again,
next day he would be on talking about it. So I didn't get spoiled because I was with him watching.
I'm sure they had a repeats. That
somebody out there was like, "Damn it, he spoiled."
I'm sure there was repeats. You just didn't want to watch it repeated.
I'm just saying, I almost lost a friendship based on
that. Would have been really silly.
It almost happened. We'll bring her on the show. We'll talk about it. Anyway, speaking of silly. This is the moment BK is going to probably laugh a little bit. When we were growing up, I think one of the greatest things about being brothers with BK is his imagination on what he was going to do in life. Like every single day, I feel like we were at the breakfast table and he would just make this.
I have a new idea.
He would make this announcement where, like, my mom and I were sitting at the breakfast table and be like, I thought about it. I'm going to be a fireman, and you're like, a fireman? Like, where did that come from? Or like Top Gun would come out and it's like, I'm going to be a fighter pilot, like that kind of thing.
Right.
And sometimes it got really outlandish. Like, I'm going to work out really hard and become a male stripper, like stuff like that. And so I never did that. And I was always very calculated and relaxed of what I was going to do. So as luck would have it, this weekend, the wife and I are sitting at the breakfast table. The boy comes over and he's like, you know what I'm going to do when I grow up? He goes, when I get a little bit older. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm going to sell feet pics. I'm like,
feet pics?
I'm like, feet
Why
pics?
does anyone, what?
I was like, what? And he goes, you can make money selling pictures of your feet.
No.
I'm like, guy feet?
There's people out there that will buy anything.
Dude, who's going to buy feet pics?
I know there's girls that sell feet pics. I get it. And they make a decent living. But that's not something you should aspire to.
But do you remember on 90 Day Fiancé, there was that girl that was selling like farts in a jar?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And making a fortune.
Yes. She was making like $300 a jar.
Yeah.
And so,
and there's a girl on the most recent episode, what's the guy's name? The alcoholic
Charlie's
wife.
Yeah, Charlie's
She's
wife.
photo person.
Same with the
but no one's selling just
the girl who was
pics.
dating the South African guy.
Feet pics.
who became a
Who buys
lesbian
feet
in the
pics?
Bahamas or whatever.
With the
She does
long,
it-
dark, curly
yeah,
hair.
she does it too.
No, there is. I mean,
a
literally,
thing.
like,
No one's buying feet pics.
yeah, they are.
No.
are.
There's people
do.
that have
If
fetishes.
people are buying
fetishes
feet
for
pics, I'm
everything.
selling my feet pics.
Well, that I guess the boy is going to turn you on to something then, because I was like, dude,
he's got size 4 feet. I got size 14 feet.
But maybe that's
I
what
don't
they
know
like.
what
Maybe
they-
they don't want big feet. Maybe they want little
Who
feet.
wouldn't want big feet pics?
I don't know what the fetish people are
I don't
into. I'm
know.
not one of those people, but
I didn't know.
If you're
Guy-
into feet pics, I'm sure the bigger the better.
I didn't even know guys sell their feet pics. Like I know girls
I
sell
would
their feet
never
pics.
think that anyone would want to buy a foot pic.
Somehow there's somebody, and the boy at least
Do you
goes,
think people text foot pics?
but he's looking at me. He's like, he's like, you can't sell your feet pics, and I'm like, I didn't plan on it, but it reminded me of BK. I was like, I don't.
I mean,
somehow
do
it's
you
in the
groom your foot?
bloodline.
Do you like, get a nice pedicure ahead of time?
No,
and
shave the hair off.
right. That's what I'm saying.
I don't even look down. I don't look at.
Do you
feet.
get it scrubbed and make sure it's nice and clean? And
Yeah, I don't know.
do
I
you
don't.
do some feet exercises during the week to make sure it's like all masculine-y?
So I guess if you have good looking feet, what is a good looking foot?
I've heard,
There's no
by the
such
way,
thing as a good looking foot.
Here's
They're
the
I
thing.
all
don't think
ugly.
so either.
I've
It freaks
heard
me out.
I've heard of hand pics.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, there's a lot of hand pics because you advertise watches or you advertise rings or bracelets or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's hand models galore, right? That's obvious. But foot models, I would never ever think that.
Yeah. I think it's weird. Like I don't get it, but then I started thinking like, what are you watching, son?
Yeah,
that makes you think. And then I found out that he's aware of more channels than on the internet than I've even known were available.
See, I always think back to one of your famous sayings, the hot one. What's the hot ones?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, for me, it doesn't do it, but I could understand how, there's people that would find it attractive and that would be their thing. Everybody is attracted to something and that's their thing. Good for them.
I'm fine with that too. I just find it funny because, like I said, it reminded me of old school BK. I was sitting there going, you know what? This is probably the age it started.
But
And
BK would like send you gross foot pics just to torment you. I get that
he
feeling,
probably
right?
would.
He'd
if
be
that-
texting you if you had phones in those days, texting
Oh,
you
yeah.
a picture of his foot just to try
Yeah.
to torment you.
he's way more committed than the boy is, he was way more committed than the boy is now. But I think it just made me smile.
I've never heard of that.
'cause
That's
it
funny
just,
as hell.
It just made me smile because it reminded me of old school BK. Because every day at the breakfast table there was always something new, and it was always this presentation of just like,
I'm going to be a lawyer.
Yeah, it's like
I'm going to be a doctor.
I've made my decision. I'm going to be a mechanic. And you're like, okay. It was always fascinating. So now I realize the boy is, kind of going in the same line as BK. So feet pics.
So did he ever come downstairs? I'm going to be a club owner, or I'm going to be a promoter.
all of it, like it's always there. And so I love the imagination, and I wish I had that.
Oh my God.
So
If you
I'm
recorded
thankful.
every one of them, that would have been awesome.
Had I had if I could,
The
foresight,
foresight.
yeah, foresight, boom. If I had the foresight to do it, I would have done it, because it was a highlight of growing up with BK. So, he's going to call me this week. What the hell?
Will do, dude.
What are you talking about? I never did that. But anyway, okay, one more thing I wanted to bring up. Lisa Marie Presley died, which I think we talked about it last week. I'm not sure. She had the ultimate win. When we talk about funerals?
Yeah.
Ultimate win.
Ooh, and it's not even done by subfacts.
I don't even know how this happened,
All right.
because these people, to my knowledge, don't do the funeral circuit.
Right.
She had Axl Rose perform and Alanis Morissette perform at her funeral. That's the ultimate win. Like,
You know what?
you
She may have had that planned as she was going. She may have realized she was going, and she may have reached out and say, "Hey, I'm going to donk off in the next few days.
Well,
Would you
what
mind
I
playing my
recall, it was
funeral?"
a sudden donk off, but she looked like she was unstable though. But anyway,
That's what I'm saying. She probably knew she wasn't going to last long. She was like, "Hey, if I donk off in the next couple of weeks, can you play my funeral?"
the fact that Alanis played her funeral and sounded amazing, you can check it out on YouTube. Ultimate win. That's the best.
Axl Rose and Alanis Morissette.
I will say this: Axl sounded awful.
Oh, he did.
He did November Rain, and it, like, they said that he
What
gave
happened to him?
they said that he gave a really nice speech and he was very shy and very cordial and everything. So all things about him was like he was very kind and did everything great. But then he sits down to play the song and it's, how we pick on you singing? You could have done a better job at you could have. Your November Rain would have sounded better than his November Rain.
Andy might have input on this. I think he, like, the rumor I heard is that he destroyed his voice by the way he sang, because he sang in that, like, when he would go into that like high, like he kind of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact if that's the case. I do know another example of something similar whose voice has changed drastically. If you go listen to Joe Elliott from Def Leppard recently, and I think what happened to him was he stopped smoking. And I'm an advocate for people to stop smoking for their good health, of course.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But in his case, he had such a distinctive sound. I mean, you think about Joe Elliott and the way
100%.
his lead vocal. I mean, to me, he had one of the best rock voices, male rock voices.
Oh yeah,
of all time. The guy's got such a distinctive voice. And then I just happened to be watching some concert popped up or something on YouTube, and it was like, I think it was like a Sirius XM concert that they did. And he started singing. I was like, whoa, what happened to his voice? And so I Googled it and they were like, oh, he had to learn to re-sing after he stopped smoking. And sure enough, that's exactly what it
You
was.
get
like
a different voice when you smoke, 100%.
Yeah,
absolutely. And hopefully John Bon Jovi stops smoking too, because I think he might actually be going deaf or something, because
oh no,
everything, how I love John, and I will always love John for the rest of my life. But man, it's so painful. It almost looks like it hurts him singing now when he's singing.
No.
And I don't think he's even close to where the rest of the band is, and it just sounds so bad. But I think it might be maybe it's a hearing thing too. Axl could have a situation like that.
Yeah,
too.
hearing will definitely affect your voice.
Because a lot of those old school people didn't have the inner ears and stuff. So, it's just not the same. But anyway,
destroy your.
But also, like Brian said, I think when you think about John as well, we know what they put him through.
Oh yeah, through Slippery and all that.
Yeah, and that would have taken its toll on his voice too. Just like with Axl, like Brian saying, I would not be at all surprised.
Yeah, but John had
a moment.
Sense. John had a moment where I think he had to teach himself to sing again.
That's right. Yeah, he went through a lot of vocal
and I
coaching.
would say around the time of like the early 2000s, his voice was better than I've ever heard it. And he wrote it for a good couple tours. And then you started to go back down again. So it's kind of like,
and a lot of people are saying that about Joe Elliott. They're like, oh, he's the best he's ever sounded because he relearned and he went with these vocal coaches and stuff. Yeah. And yeah, he's on pitch and everything sounds on pitch. Just doesn't sound like Joe Elliott because he's going into that same falsetto voice in his, the high notes that you're used to hearing the way it sounded on the record, but it doesn't sound like that anymore. It now sounds like a choir boy singing Def Leppard, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear the rock version where the guy's like got that gritty sounding voice.
Yeah, and that's the tough part of getting old. It sucks.
And I think that's a factor too for all these guys we're talking about. Is at the end of the day, we're talking about muscles, and it's a very finely tuned organism. And as we get older, we know our bodies are changing. I'm sure it's the same for these singers too. I mean,
yeah, it's tough. And I think it's more in the male singers, obviously, than the female singers. I think they can hang in there a lot longer. But it sucks when your heroes get old.
Our boy Bruce Dickinson
still sounds great,
and he's had throat cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, I went and saw him do the book tour thing last year, and he did some a cappella stuff, and he did not have amplification. You could hear him all the way at the back of the theater. That guy's voice projects.
Oh yeah,
he's loud, and he has still got pipes like you wouldn't believe. I don't know how he does it.
He's
took care of himself.
I think that's the thing too, is he never gotten listening to his book. He really he's one of those engineer minded type of people where they really want to break something down and learn everything about it. So he learned all about the muscles that it takes and doing all the exercises and all that kind of stuff, and it pays off.
Yeah,
got a solo album coming out soon.
Practice makes perfect.
So anyway, I don't know where we went with Lisa Marie funeral, but anyway, R.I.P. Lisa Marie, but she did it well because she got Lainey to sing at her funeral.
Is that why it's a good funeral? Because you got her to sing?
100%. I would be the happiest
Wow.
me in the whole wide world if somebody pulls that off.
You
Fine,
would
make
be
it happen.
dead. You wouldn't know.
Oh, I would know.
How would you know?
I like to think that
You're going to come back as a ghost already? It takes time.
No. I think when you die, you watch yourself. Like I think you get
You
that-
watch yourself?
You watch yourself.
Really? Okay, that's new.
I'm just saying. I'd like to know that Alanis is there. She's doing it for me. Okay. One of my favorite parts of the show is actually, I'm looking at Andy and I'm thinking, we never started
doing.
We never started talking. Oh wow! I was going to say we haven't asked you about your business and everything. How's Creative Underground doing?
Creative Underground's doing great. It's been it's been an interesting close to the year and start to the year. We've had some really fun new projects coming in. I got another podcast that I'm working with that I'm super excited about. I've got been working with some guys on a children's YouTube channel.
Nice.
Which, you know, when you go look at the stats of like, you know, who makes all the money on YouTube, it's
Yeah,
the
a lot of kids do,
content.
yeah.
And these guys are brilliant. What they're doing is they're creating original music. So rather than regurgitating kids' nursery rhymes and stuff, they're creating original music, but for kids. And he built this whole thing around the stories that he would tell and the experiences he used to have with his daughter when she was younger. So he's kind of taken her favorite toy and all the adventures that they used to go on, and he's turning them into songs. Absolutely brilliant.
That is fat cash coming his way.
I really believe in these guys.
I saw a story on somebody like that on the Today Show a couple weeks ago, and it's similar in nature. And these people are just taking it to the bank because it's, you know, there's people always looking for programming. Kids always find other kids, especially on YouTube. And
yeah, it's nuts.
It's awesome. They can't find our
Good
show.
call.
But
I don't know if we would appeal to that audience,
No,
but who knows?
I just saw a list, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, of the top 50 or top 100 revenue generating or most revenue generating content on YouTube. And out of it, like 75% of it was kids content.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Because, you know, you think about it, you know, these young kids that are sitting there with a phone while the parents are trying to keep them occupied, they're just consuming content.
And they don't watch
over.
TV. They don't watch TV because they can't sit still for a full half hour to watch a show. So YouTube and
it's the clips, right? Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. The last couple months down this like Iron Maiden rabbit hole, my favorite channel is YouTube. I literally just keep watching other people's YouTube clips of either album rankings, different bands, and what they'll do the full discography and rank them to number one or whatever. I'll watch that, but I'll watch everything YouTube. I'm becoming like that where I can't sit still for a normal show anymore. But love it. I'm going down the YouTube rabbit hole big time.
Yeah.
You said you were doing your voiceover stuff too, right? Or you had somebody that's doing a voiceover?
Yeah. So I did a voiceover for a documentary last year that's now just been released. In fact, it's going down to a museum in Tampa to be released in a museum down there. It's a local girl put together a documentary on a racehorse that was bred here in Virginia called Mill Reef. She put together a documentary on the history of this racehorse. That's quite amazing. And then I have a movie producer that's coming in now to do what we call it ADR, which is where you've recorded a movie and the dialogue for whatever reason got contaminated when you were recording the scene. Maybe there's a plane going over, or there's things that make the audio not usable. So they come into the studio and we replace the audio. You bring in your voice actor.
Oh, nice.
And then we replace the audio. So we got a guy that's coming in to do his movie.
That's awesome. That's what Mooney wants to do, voice acting.
I would love to do voice acting for characters.
Yeah, if anybody says they need a voice
I may have
actor,
some work coming in for you because this same guy, he has
awesome.
asked me for some voiceover actors. So I may have some
I'll
work
try
for
it
you.
out. I'll volunteer.
I think Mooney is the star of this show, but like if you need both of us, we'll both volunteer. But I think Mooney would be the better. You do have a great cartoon voice.
Yeah, I could do a cartoon voice.
You'd be a good cartoon.
Oh, I think so.
I would just have to, know what way they want to go with it.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. We're gonna get you some voice acting work.
Love it.
Sir.
Love it.
I'll just be a stand-in if they need an extra.
Hey,
but I think we should push you forward.
It all goes into the same subfacts bucket.
Boom.
Now, I was gone for a couple of weeks at the end of the year, so I didn't get to come in and see you guys at the end of the year, but I do have something that I had wanted to bring in at the end of the year, and because I couldn't.
Is it a Cindy Starfall phone number? Oh no,
it's not an inflatable Cindy
That's
Starfall
awesome.
either.
I was gonna say, does it have a
hand one over
mouthful? There
Mooney
you
as
go.
well.
Oh, boom.
Boom.
Christmas presents.
It's
I love
Christmas
the
in
wrapping.
almost February.
Very
here.
nicely
This
wrapped.
is all, should we do it like your wife? We just
Yeah,
rip
like
through and
all right, my dad opened very carefully.
oh,
Oh, I like what I see.
I do too. This is awesome.
No way.
And it just so
we
happens.
get some swag.
No way. This is awesome.
This is so cool. We got to break it out and see what's up.
This
my gosh.
is nice.
It's actually got our logo on it.
I know how much you
know.
guys love merch because we
That
talk
is
about the Subfacts
awesome,
merch on the
folks.
air all the time.
dude.
that is
nice.
so cool. You got our logo in there, dude.
Look at that.
That is awesome.
And I got to give a massive shout out again to my wife
Dude,
here
that's
because
awesome.
I went through about 3
Dude.
different iterations of the design. The first version that I thought looked great, I showed to my kids. I'm like, what do you think of this? I want to create something that's kind
Dude,
of
I love the not.com. That's pimp.
Oh,
right.
that
And I
is
wanted that to be a part of
awesome.
it. So I showed it to my kids and they're like, yeah, it looks great, Dad. And then I showed it to my wife and she's the graphic design person.
Yeah.
So I know she's the one to go to. She was like, no, it looks awful.
Dude, I am
So
totally
she
wearing this all the
redid
time.
everything and she came up with the idea to put the Subfacts logo in the center of the Creative Underground logo.
I
And
love it.
she really came
That's
through.
the coolest
Dude, that's-
merch we have at this
that's
point,
like
dude.
I think my best Christmas gift is here. That's
Well,
nice.
thank you.
We
And
need- that
We're
is
the only 3
amazing.
people in the world to have them. There's only 3 in the world. The 3 of us have them.
That is
No.
awesome.
And there'll
That's
be
why
a
you've been
4th
wearing
one
your
for
jacket.
Brian, of course.
Oh my god, Brian, did you see
They're,
these?
they're pretty dope. I'm excited. Thank you.
It's cool.
It's really, really cool.
I'm wearing it everywhere. That is awesome.
I'm gonna wear it to our trivia next week.
Oh, we totally have
Well,
to.
I was about to ask you if you guys wore Subfacts t-shirts to
I
trivia.
actually
if
wore a
that's the
Maiden
team.
shirt last night.
Come on, you
I
got to wear
did.
Subfacts merch.
We would.
We will. I mean,
I
but I'm
think
gonna wear
that-
this.
next
This
week,
is better.
dude.
This is really cool.
100%. Next week we're doing it.
Is your team called Subfacts?
Yeah.
You got to wear the merch because then people know you're a team. It's like bowling. You got to have your bowling team shirts, right?
Dude, this is going to intimidate the hell out of the other teams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Boom. That'd be solid. Dude, thank you so much.
Dude,
That
this is awesome.
that
I
is-
appreciate it. This is really nice.
That is really, really cool.
Well, I thank you guys for everything too. I mean,
I do. I
It's
love
awesome. Thank you so much.
anytime.
And something else.
I'm gonna add it to the thing and t-shirt creator.
Well, that would be my wonderful wife. She was the
Yes.
design genius here.
If we could put these on our merch, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
story.
But
But
people, this is nice. This is double. Like
that's
then we
insane.
advertise 2 people.
Yes.
Nice.
Awesome.
We call
Gotta-
that co-branding in the industry.
Yes, we like to
Co-branding.
co-brand.
Co-brand.
Boom.
We're co-branders.
You know the name of the show is going to be called co-branding. With that being said, this is one of my favorite parts of the show.
You know whose voice that is, right?
I don't know.
It's your boy here.
Is it?
That's me.
Way to go!
Really?
It's
I had no
amazing what
idea.
you can do with a pitch shifter.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a pitch shifter?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's me
that was
down.
my
I
nickname
think.
back in high school.
No, it wasn't with a P.
Oh. Every time. It gets us every time. Enjoy it. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I've never seen you.
He's turning so
Okay.
bright red.
I love it. I can't.
Okay,
I can't.
the new name of the show, Pitch Shifter.
Don't think I
so
didn't write it
great.
down.
Okay.
You don't understand.
So
how
yeah,
funny that is.
2 octaves down. That's
That's
me
all.
2 octaves down.
We need to be 2 octaves down a few times.
Isn't that like a Doors song?
Can we
or
set up a? We
something?
need a pitch shifter here. That'd be awesome.
I can't stop that.
Okay. So anyway, I love that. It gets me, I get chills. It's like up the back of my neck when I hear that, like the whole intro, because it's like it's almost too good for our show.
No.
It really is.
You know,
It's-
I was listening. I was catching up on last week's episode today. Well, I was working on some projects, and the one thing I was kind of appreciating, and this wasn't a conscious decision, but every one of the little pieces of music that we've created for Subfacts, it's very different. They're all like their own little personality. You
Oh, yeah.
couldn't look at them and be like, oh yeah, they all kind of sound like you know
Yeah.
Andy you know, his kind of music. I mean, I've never created anything like any of those things before.
Yeah.
Each one of them kind of stands on their own as their own little unique thing.
They're amazing. They're amazing. It's
nice.
I love them. Speaking of loving, going into the movies of the week. You know how last week I was telling you have to go see Megan. I hadn't seen Megan yet. I saw Megan this weekend, and it's awesome.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I thought it was.
I ended up. I'll talk about the movie I saw.
I thought it was extremely cool. There's a little bit of Chucky, but it's not as hokey as Chucky. So
I kind of like the hokiness of Chucky, though.
So Chucky,
the original
Chucky lost me. Child's Play, for the folks who don't know, Child's Play in a weird. It came off really hokey at the time for me. I still enjoyed it, but Megan made sense. Megan was it's more the future of AI and all that.
Right.
Similar concept, but the one thing I did like is
but Chucky wasn't AI. I mean, Child's Play wasn't
Chucky
AI.
starts out an a-hole because it's like a criminal.
Yeah, of course.
Megan doesn't start out as an a-hole, so you actually get to see the AI learning and stuff like that.
But she doesn't become an a-hole either. She just protects.
Yeah, like her role is to protect the person she's paired up with.
Right, and she just gets a little serious about it.
Yeah, so she goes a little too much. I will say it was a fun movie. It's not as good as like the Menu. I think is on a different level.
I want to see that still.
Megan is a fun movie. It's a fun Saturday evening movie. So definitely go check out Megan. They're gonna do a sequel anyway, so it's worth it.
I ended up seeing Missing, which is the sequel per se to Searching.
It's also Home Alone 3.
No. What?
I'm just saying Kevin McAllister's always missing.
No.
Searching for him.
If you saw the original Searching with John Cho, whatever his name is.
Harold from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, exactly. So, his daughter, his daughter doesn't come home, doesn't know where he is. She's going, he does all this searching. So it's the same thing. Missing is very fast paced.
So he lost another kid?
No. So it's by the same people who did the first movie. So it's about a daughter who's, really not listening to her mom. Hey, we're going to come home at the airport, be there 11 a.m., LAX, whatever. She gets to LAX at 11 a.m. Mom's not there. Now she's going on a huge search where her mom is. Her mom ends up checking in the hotel. It's a whole big thing searching for her mom.
Okay.
But it's like, she has to learn how to, she's Googling how to speak Spanish to speak to a guy who's at the hotel there. She hires this other dude to help track down her movement. So it's like this whole, I like that kind of stuff.
I just have to say, if anybody in my world goes missing, I am not going to be searching. I'm not going to put much effort into it.
That's it.
I'm not. I just want it on record. I don't have it in me. I'm not smart enough to come up with the different things. I told it.
The wife goes missing.
So
it depends if 600-Pound Sisters is on or whatever the show is called. I mean, if it gets in the way of the show,
it's not going to happen. But we went to Europe last week.
Hey, Matt, we got some breaking news on your wife.
Sorry, Thunder Road coming on right now.
Exactly. I call back in 20 minutes.
We went to Europe last year, and I literally had this conversation with the boy. I said, "Look, dude, strange land we're in." I said, "I am not Liam Neeson's." I said, so you have about a 10-foot radius where if somebody goes to kidnap you, I can probably grab you.
Yeah.
Once they go out of that 10-foot radius,
that's a very generous radius.
I was like, you're going to be taken for sex slaves, all the things they did.
I'm not coming to get you.
I'm not Liam Neeson's. I said, I'm not going to have a way to get you. So
I'm not going to take a photo as you leave. I'm not going to do a voice.
I'm not
good
fast
luck.
Enough.
Right. I'm not tracking you down.
You know how people go, oh, get the tags of that car. No, the car's already gone before I even think about it. I'm not that bright. So, So anybody in my world, if they're not there, I'm sorry, I'm not really going to look. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not.
You're not going to even look around the next day, while you're eating a pizza or somewhere. I might look at the crowd and go, "Oh man!"
Walk the neighborhood, just around, not more than 2 streets.
So you're talking a low radius, a half-mile radius.
Very low radius. Who am I going to stop? You know what I mean? If somebody's kidnapping anybody I know, they're probably going to take me down too. I'm not getting involved.
No, they just want the kid.
But what am I going to do? I'm not going to go. I'm not going to see it.
Try to chase down the guy and make sure they don't kidnap your kid.
Who am I chasing down?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like in these movies,
You're not going to yell and say, "Stop that dude."
yeah, I'm better at calling the cops, going, "Hey," but they'll go like, "What's the license plate?" I don't know. I didn't see it. It was dark.
You know how they say you get like a boost of adrenaline. Like you never know. You could become
You
like
might. You get. I
Carl
guess.
Lewis, track the guy down.
I'm just giving people fair warning that most likely don't expect a hero out of your boy because
it doesn't even sound like you're going to give it like a more of a college try.
No,
like
no, I'm not. Because even in these movies, they always do these like smart things where they go, "Oh, there wasn't an ashtray there before."
Right.
I don't notice any of that. I noticed none of it.
But you could take pictures and go, "Oh, wait a minute. I remember seeing that guy when we were at, the McDonald's and he was behind me."
My wife would be perfect at all this. She's always like, "Oh, did you hear that subtle noise?" No, I didn't. It's like, she was like, "Did you hear the neighbors like beating on the wall or like hammering on the wall?" No, I didn't. I don't hear any of it. It's just, I don't see it. I don't notice it. It's not me. It's not me. Wow. Now, if it was on Dawson's Creek, I'd pay attention.
Yeah, exactly.
1,000-Pound Sisters, which is the best
amazing
damn show. Season
you
4
still know like
is on point.
Scene for scene, the last episode of Dawson's Creek, but you won't know who kidnapped her.
Exactly. I'm just telling people ahead of time. I really have no.
Like you won't know, like you won't say, "Oh, he's wearing like an interesting jacket or he had a hat on."
Don't look to me for help. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
That's always been my worst nightmare. If ever I got called in to do like one of those identification panels, whatever.
I did do that though once.
I don't think I would be any good at that because I have the world's worst memory. Like if I had to like or put together like a photo fit of like a suspect or something, like what did he look like? I mean, he had hair. I remember he had hair.
But
what color?
I think
darkish.
I think I told this on the show, but I had to do all of that. And I kind of looked at the person that was in there with me. I'm like, does that look like the person? And they were like, yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah, that's him. I remember him anywhere. And so fortunately for me, the person actually never really went to trial. They actually died beforehand. And they were in other prison systems. They were in like other issues. So they weren't necessarily a good person, but I had to point somebody out. And I was probably 30% on who the person was.
Wow.
But, I'm not the best when it comes. I'm not.
You know what though? Eyewitness evidence is very unreliable anyway.
That I am the unreliable factor in that.
I would be 10% at best.
Yeah.
You can implant memories. They've proven it. I've seen a lot of shows on implanting memories.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like I said,
cops do it all the time. Like they're like, "Oh, you saw this person at this and this and that."
Mm-hmm.
They do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So next, the Oscars. Got the Oscar nominations came out this week.
No one watches the Oscars.
Hey, now I got a strong movie record. Are we moving on from movies?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually,
before we leave that, I got
Avatar
a strong,
2, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
But I do have actually a strong one. I had another real bad movie experience, but it led to a great one. So on the flight back from England, thanks to United, you got the TV in the back of the headrest, and usually it's not such a great selection. United, it was pretty good on the flight back. They had Maverick. I'm like, I got to check it out.
Maverick's awesome.
No, it wasn't.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it. I thought it was just a bunch of
because you watched it on a little screen.
No, it was still bad.
You got to watch it in the movie theater.
It was still horrible. It was just cliche after cliche.
But that's what you watch it for.
Sure, I loved it. You had to know you were getting the fighter.
Oh yeah, I knew I was getting into it, and I watched the whole thing
for cliche. That's what you watch it for. You don't watch it for anything.
But was it good? Good.
Oh, I loved it.
But what was good was the next movie I watched, and it's just dropped on Prime, which is why I wanted to mention it. It just dropped on Amazon Prime this week. It's called Vengeance, and it's written by a boy, BJ Novak, that was the guy in The Office.
Oh, we saw it. You've
seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
We talked about it on the show. Well, it's been a while.
That episode. Because I think it's perfect for you guys since it's about like a podcast.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show. And Ashton Kutcher was in it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember if I liked it.
It's on Prime?
Like
Amazon Prime, it just dropped there this
Brian,
week.
I liked it, and you said you thought it was okay.
Okay, because I remember, I think you really liked it, which made me watch it. And then I was sort of like indifferent.
I haven't seen it yet.
You thought it was a little slow through the middle, I think.
So I was going to segue into the whole Oscars thing and we can use this as an example. The one movie that like got 11 nominations is the Michelle Yeoh movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, that's been on a lot.
I literally, it's free on one of the channels, and I tried. I made it probably 45 minutes, and I
I tried
just,
watching a little bit of it.
for me, it's unwatchable. Like, I don't understand. It's so like, once again, I'm not a smart man. People think I am, but I'm really not. This is so out of left field that it just, I just can't even understand it. Like, I have no idea what's going on. And
What is it about? I have not even heard of this.
So it's about a lady who runs like a dry cleaning establishment, and her husband, who she's kind of like running her whole family. She's definitely like the matriarch, and her husband, he plays this like buffoon kind of guy, but then on the other hand, he's this like super spy, like from like a third dimension or whatever. There's a lot of Matrix type things.
It was too many different worlds. I couldn't.
And it just goes around in different worlds. And we all know that I can't deal with mega universes and different universes. I just can't do it. And so I had to punt. I literally hate leaving a movie, especially one that, like I said, 11 Oscars. So somebody loved it. So I really wanted to get it. I can't.
Nah, I'm not going to invest my time.
It was pain. Brian, you come off as a guy who would love that.
So I haven't seen it. I'm sort of interested in trying, but I have the same reservations you do about it. Just I've heard it, like the stuff I've heard about it. There's like too much going on in the movie.
Way too much. You're multiverse though. You can kind of handle that.
Yeah, you're a big multiverse guy.
Yeah, we're not multiverse, and so
I'm not multiverse at all.
So back.
I can do it for the Marvel movies, but not for anything else.
Back to the Oscars, I have no problems whatsoever with like
I don't watch the Oscars anymore. It kind of sucks.
My Irish movie with Colin Farrell, that movie I did watch. I thought that was pretty good. The people who did the other
who's hosting? I don't even care.
Jimmy Kimmel, I think.
Oh,
but
so I watched that. I watched the Banshees of.
I loved it. The Banshees of Inisherin.
It wasn't what I was expecting it was going to be, but I liked it.
I did too. I don't know. I just enjoyed it.
No chance.
It was cute.
And I didn't like In Bruges.
I loved In Bruges.
There's no chance I watched the Oscars.
In Bruges is like one of the best movies. It's awesome.
Not. What do you mean Tom Cruise snubbed again?
So here's the thing. Tom Cruise, in my opinion, should probably have 12 Oscars by now.
Easy.
And yet Maverick is up for Best Picture.
Yep.
You look at Best Actor, and where's Tommy Cruise? Where's Tom? Why is he not there?
I don't know.
Because the acting was horrible in Maverick, maybe.
Wow.
He's not but
we got cool shirts. We can't say anything.
But I don't understand how they do it. They're like, oh, let's find a new genre type of movie and let's nominate this guy Best Actor. What about the guy who's in $400 billion movie after $400 billion movie?
That's the problem I have, right? Because
people love him. They go to see him.
I don't dislike Tom Cruise. I just didn't enjoy Maverick.
No, but that's to Mooney's point, folks. Tom Cruise makes or breaks a movie
for sure.
Strictly on like acting and everything else,
right?
The fact that he did his own flying should be something that's Oscar worthy.
Right? No, they put Jesse Eisenberg in for Squid and the Whale. Like, come on.
But it's like, yeah. So I'm like. I got really pissed because sometimes I can sit there and go, okay, well, he's up against like Pacino and Nichols, all of these like the greats. I'll kind of get that a little bit, but when you look at like the list of male actors, you're like, every one of these people would kill to be in a Tom Cruise movie.
Absolutely.
And yet Tom doesn't make the cut. Come on.
Yeah.
So
because it's not based on popularity or who likes who. It's based on what this group of people in Hollywood think of a certain performance.
Everybody in Hollywood, if Tom Cruise called your house, you'd take that call immediately.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't like the Oscars. I haven't liked it for a long time, and I don't even think I've watched an Oscars since Stallone got snubbed.
Yeah,
I won't. That's the thing. I kind of written them off.
Yeah,
I can honestly say I've never watched a single Oscar ceremony.
You haven't missed anything.
You're not missing anything.
The early ones were decent with like Billy Crystal, but like
I'm not gonna lie, I get suckered into it every time. I like to see the people.
Don't let him. He loves award shows. He loves award shows.
I like to see the faces of people that lose.
What is the one that Ricky Gervais kept hosting
He
and getting
did
in trouble for
the
was
Golden Globes.
Golden Globes.
Yeah.
I'll watch just his parts. Like
Yeah.
I'll go on YouTube afterwards and I'll watch
Mm.
like, you know, if it's like a
He's pretty
funny
funny.
person like
Yeah.
him hosting it, I'll go watch his parts. I don't care about the other parts.
Yeah, the Golden Globes used to be fun because that's where they were all like sitting at tables,
Yeah.
and the drinks would just be flowing. So like that's the one where you get the
Good
drunk
speeches, yeah.
Yeah, you get the drunk celebrities, which is much better. But like I love it because they always have like the 4 boxes of the other people, and when their name doesn't get picked, you could be the greatest actor in the world. In your head, you're still saying
You're
F.
you're like,
I love it.
ah.
I love it. As much as they want to be modest, nope. So I look for that stuff. But anyway, so that was basically movies of the week. Okay. So next we're gonna get to, if I hit the right button. Okay, so Backstage Pass. Who did the voice for that? I did hear a
Right
British
here.
accent
What?
in that one.
Well, I turned on the British accent even more
Yeah.
for that because I wanted it to sound
Yeah, you
very-
need that part.
very Spinal Tap.
Yes. So interesting thing came up this week, and I'm not that big of a fan, but I actually applaud what this person did. But Brandon Urie, who's the lead singer of Panic at the Disco, Panic at the Disco has definitely
Yeah, 'cause
had
I know that.
they've definitely had some success in their time. Basically, he just decided to quit the band. He's just like,
What?
I'm leaving the band.
Why? How do you do that?
A lot of people leave for side projects, all these other things. He's like, no, my wife's pregnant. I'm gonna have a kid, and I'm just gonna quit and go
Be a
ride
dad.
off in the sunset and be a dad. I think that's the coolest thing in the world. The best move anybody could really make. It sucks for the fans. Like if I'm a diehard Panic at the Disco fan, I'm a little upset. But if you think about it this way, this dude, I looked his celebrity net worth up. He's roughly around $12 million. Plenty of money.
That's a lot of money.
Plenty of money to just quit your day job and then just focus on like having a cool ass life with your family.
Yeah, why not?
I think that's fantastic.
It is. It's an awesome. It's an
kudos to him, and I'll take it a step further. So let's say he raises kids go off to college or whatever, and he gets the itch again. Panic at the Disco has enough of a following that like if they did a reunion,
he can come back anytime.
If they did like a reunion with him, like whether they get a new lead singer or whatever, he'll always be that original guy. And he can come back and do
he's got the money, spend it with your family.
Mm-hmm. I think more bands should probably do something
absolutely.
Like that. So yeah, I thought it was,
or they could take a break for 2 or 3 years, right? I mean,
yeah, kudos to him.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't get
commendable move.
You don't get those moments a second time. Kids grow up fast,
you
absolutely don't.
Yeah, so so while a lot of people were shocked, I was applauding him.
Mind you, wait till they get to be middle school age kids. He might, change his tune.
He's like,
and be like, you know what,
band.
you know
right,
what, honey,
yeah, exactly.
The band's calling. I got to go back on the road. It's going to be at least 18 months. We got a big.
I mean, like right now, you would chase his kid down in Europe, but maybe not in a couple.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Maybe he could like stoke his kid's dream of becoming a foot model.
Exactly. But the good thing too is Panic at the Disco is still relatively a younger band, which has had multiple hit albums for them. So he's leaving at the top. They haven't done the
60 and 70.
They haven't done the complete crap albums. You know what I mean? Which were going to happen sooner or later. So
maybe they avoid the crap albums.
That's
perfect.
That's what I'm thinking of. He's winning. That's all I'm saying.
Winning.
Who's
on
not
the field
winning?
And off the field.
Not winning is Ticketmaster. This week, Ticketmaster has been on Capitol Hill, and they're taking a grilling like no other, as they should.
Ticketmaster sucks.
I've been talking about this for months now, and Ticketmaster absolutely blows. And so they're being found out for the monopoly that they are. So basically, they merged with Live Nation, so basically Live Nation owns a lot of the venues. So not only are they selling the tickets, they're also in charge of the resale, like the third party reselling.
Oh,
they've also got the venues.
So they trump up everything.
Yes. And so
that's a monopoly like no other.
And there was a guy, I think he was speaking, his band was called like Lawrence or something like that. And he gave like a breakdown of like not only do they take like X percentage of your merch, all the ticket price, they get their money up front, whereas the band doesn't get their money till like the very end. So he basically outlined every way that the band gets screwed by like
Ticketmaster
Ticketmaster.
gets some of the merch.
Oh, like 30%.
How?
It's because they're Ticketmaster. If you want people to buy your tickets to whatever show you're in, you kind of need Ticketmaster. I figure
that's why concert shirts are $65.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, what I don't like it, and I'm
$65.
What I don't like is the fact that
Are you serious? A T-shirt is $65.
If you go to a big show that's
Yeah.
a Ticketmaster show, but if I go see the Subhumans or Jimmy Necco and I go see them at Jam and Java or a small venue and it's one of the smaller ticket companies, $25 for a T-shirt because they're reasonable human beings and I want to buy their shirts because I want to help put gas in their tank to get to the next venue.
Yeah.
But $65, like I got to think hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm not buying it. 65.
And so
F that.
No, but Ticketmaster, the one thing I've really been complaining about is if anybody who's bought tickets in the last year or two, especially to a big show, but it even doesn't have to be a big show, they're taking advantage of the emotional need to go see that show.
Absolutely.
So they have an algorithm that basically bumps the prices up for those people who are like waiting in line or there at like 10 in the morning on a Friday. They're bumping the ticket to the max ticket price because those are the people that have to go and they're willing to pay that amount because they can't miss it. Whereas
like a Bruce Springsteen show.
If you're like you could roll in the day of the show and get those same tickets for half the cost because you didn't care.
I'm willing to wait.
Yes. I personally hate that, being a guy who is the guy at 10 in the morning on a Friday waiting for tickets. So F Ticketmaster, and they're going to get theirs.
I'm with you. That's awesome. I hope they do go down.
Yes.
In flames.
And so, F them.
And hopefully we get a better deal out of it than last time. Because last time, remember that class action lawsuit and we got like a bunch of like free ticket credits
that you couldn't use.
Yeah, I never used any of them. They were pointless.
I feel like I had like 100 available to me, credits or whatever they gave you. And I used 3. And it was like, you had to get lawn seats.
Always lawn seats.
And it was at the worst shows.
Like, I'm like, look at my history of buying concerts through Ticketmaster. Yeah. When have you ever seen me buy lawn seats? Never. I will refuse to buy them. That's not my concert going experience.
I hate lawn seats.
I want to be like either in the pit or I want to be in like the first tier. I want to be close. I don't want to be in the lawn.
Yeah. And that's the thing, if you think about it, like we're in the same boat. We spend decent money to be in that experience. I refuse to buy lawn seats because lawn seats suck, especially if it rains, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that
it's
was
a different experience. I mean, it's fine if you want to go and have a picnic with your friends and you don't care about the band.
Absolutely.
But that's a different experience. More often than not, if I'm going to a show, it's because I love the band and I want to go experience the band.
Right.
Yeah. And so that was the
you want to be comfortable, see them.
Yeah. I want to hear everything. I want to see everything. I want to be able to. I would be close enough I can smell it.
Running into you in the lawn, right?
You get that in general admission. I don't mind that too much if it's part of the show. But
Ticketmaster basically lost a lawsuit and then gave the ultimate FU to the people who won the lawsuit or the people who had been buying tickets by basically going, you can only go to whatever shows we choose, and whatever shows we choose, and then you can only get lawn seats. And they open them up to like the whole world. So it's kind of like if you weren't there at that moment,
right, then you're not getting it.
Yeah,
it was actually very crafty when you think about it, because they probably had to like fulfill a certain dollar amount in retribution.
I think so too, yeah.
And so they probably fulfilled that in what they offered to everyone. But I'm willing to bet that the majority of people like you and I did not cash in on that because we had no interest in those shows and those types of tickets. So though they probably had to pay back whatever it was, 30 million, they probably only ended up paying back like 1 million.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, I used them for Slipknot, and I was like, I'll do lawn. But as we got closer to the show, I'm like, no chance I want to be on the lawn for this. So I ended up buying my own tickets, and I still had, so I kind of used them but without actually using them. Yeah. So I gave them to somebody last minute. I was like, hey, more power to you. But it was complete garbage. So F Ticketmaster. I hope they get what's coming to them. On a good note, still they're announcing more and more summer tours, and this week the big one is Pantera doing a summer tour, which is saving me from having to spend $700 or $800 to go see them with Metallica in New York.
You were going to do that.
No, but I have people in close to me that really wanted to go. And so the whole Metallica stadium thing is like the tickets were like $800 and you had to go to like both shows, dumb all around.
No.
So now Pantera did it. I think they were, I'm not going to lie, I think they were capitalizing on the fact that Pantera had come back and they were opening up. So there's a lot of people who are big fans of Pantera going, if the only way I can see them is with this Metallica show,
they would do it.
Then I'm going to do it. But this week,
you got bailed out.
They announced the whole summer tour, and your boy already has tickets.
Of course you do.
September 15th, I will be in front of Pantera, center stage. Awesome tickets.
Wow.
So yes, I'm very excited, and a lot of people are like, "Well, it's not real Pantera," and I get it, but come on, you can't bring people back from the dead.
No,
you got the lead singer and you got the bass player.
Not currently, you can't.
And it's not like the people who are filling in are slubs. You know what I mean? Like Zakk Wylde. You know, he's good enough for Ozzy. He's good enough for me. You know, Charlie Benante.
But is the lead singer the same?
Yeah, Phil Anselmo. Okay. Awesome.
You act like everybody knows that.
I think most people do. so
most people do.
So I think and I've seen stuff on YouTube.
Metal fans do.
I've seen the reunion stuff, and Phil actually sounds better than he did towards the end of when they were actually all together, because he kick the drugs, but also he's not as animated on stage because of back problems and stuff, but it keeps him in the same spot to where he can actually hit those,
sing better.
You know, he can sing better. So I'm for it. But like I said, Charlie Benante, the drummer, is the drummer for Anthrax. If he's good enough for Anthrax, good enough for me. I know it's not Vinnie Paul and Dimebag, good enough, but Anthrax. I'm going to be just as happy rocking out to those tunes. So awesome.
And you know those guys are going to be bringing an energy because they're going to be excited to be playing those songs on stage with those guys. That it's going to bring a whole new level of energy to
that's
the
true
show.
too. Yeah, I can imagine that. You know, a new band.
Oh yeah,
proving their worth.
Yeah, and in the way they're doing it, I think they got the family. You know, Dime and Vinnie Paul's their brothers, so they got the family's buy-in before they even announced anything. So so they're happy. They're doing it on, and it even says like the legacy of those guys. So they're obviously paying tribute to those dudes.
That's
so
good.
they're not doing anything distasteful, in my opinion. So I don't think any of the Pantera fans can.
And I'm
really
sure the
be
people that
bitter
passed
about it.
away would want it that way, right? I mean, they would want people to.
I think so.
Continue in their honor.
I think they would too, and so I'm excited to continue that whole thing. I mentioned Anthrax, and I wanted to bring up one thing while we've got a music person in on the show. Interesting thing, and this is all the change of how music is going. Slipknot, Corey from Slipknot has mentioned it, and now Anthrax is starting to talk about it. And a lot of these bands are used to full LPs. So when they, put together 12 songs, whatever it is, they're used to, this is how I want to interpret the music. This is what I want to do. They're all realizing that the kids today are not actually listening to a full album. So the way of the future, what's going to start happening is these bands are going to start putting out EPs. So, hey, if they've got 4 songs they want to put out, they'll throw it on a quick EP. And that way they're hoping that you get somebody will sit down for 4 songs. They're not going to sit down for 12. And then what actually helps is when you're the band, all you want to do, and I'm sure Andy can talk about this, is you want to play your new stuff. You don't want to play the stuff you've played over and over.
Sure.
If you've only put out a 4-song EP, you can throw those 4 songs in your set.
Yeah.
Still get the other stuff, and people will actually know the 4 songs.
And then people won't be upset that you played your new stuff.
So as much as I actually do like LPs, I think it's actually not a bad idea.
It's an awesome idea.
Yeah, and it makes sense for the artist too as well, because you get a very instant feedback. When you think about the amount of time that it takes or it used to take to record a full album and go through that whole process versus recording a single or an EP, you can quickly put your content out, put a new video out, and you can move very quickly, see how people respond to it. And if it doesn't, you don't get a good reaction, it's not like you just spent
all that time
millions of dollars on putting
songs.
out a whole album. Exactly. You just,
and if they do get good reaction, you can put out another 4 in a year.
Yeah. And
but this is the streaming music effect. This is what's happened because of the way we consume music now with Spotify.
Attention
and other,
deficit effect too.
Yeah.
Some of that too, but I think a large part is, people don't buy CDs anymore. You know,
That's true.
Vinyl's having a comeback, sure, but the majority of people still consume music digitally on streaming platforms.
Absolutely.
And so
While they're
more than
doing something
likely,
else.
yeah, and more than likely it's in a playlist, or even if they're listening to the same artist, they're not, unless you're me or probably Matt, not listening to an album in sequence.
I need the full album and
But
do it in
we're
sequence.
we're
but
in the
yeah.
minority. The majority of music consumers are going to go to an artist and then play the curated playlist of that artist, which isn't going to be in a sequence other than their most popular songs. It's going to hit you the most popular song first, or the newest first, then the next most popular, and it's going to flow like that. And I'll tell you, most of the artists that I have coming into the studio, they're not coming in to record albums anymore. That hasn't happened in some time now. It used to be the case, but now most people are coming in to record either a song or a group of songs for, 3-4 being released all together in one time.
Well, I understand it, and I'm going to champion this. There is a sad part of me because I actually do like going through the full album and go, okay, usually they don't just make 10 songs, that they usually make like 20 songs and pare it down. So I'm like, Gangland, how did that make this album?
Right.
And this Iron
There's
Maiden,
oftentimes some sleepers on an album, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you listen to Number of the Beast, which is Iron Maiden's probably most popular album or biggest selling probably, all the songs in my opinion are just like great. And then you get the one song and you're like, how the hell did that like Gangland is the name of the song? And it is kind of panned amongst the fans and all, but you do have to wonder, like, how did that make the cut? And so I used to have these conversations. Now with if you're only going to do an EP, that song wouldn't even ever make it to the EP.
And what's funny as well, though, is like there's still bands that, will put out full albums like Periphery. They're about to drop Periphery 5 this year, which I'm super excited for.
Oh, me too. Can't wait.
Local guys, too. These guys are local guys, too.
Oh, boom. See them at Tally Ho.
No, not that local.
Oh, okay.
Not that local. And I mean, now they wouldn't play big venues, but bands like that, they do still put together albums. But what amazes me is that the bands that still have that focus, they're not saying, okay, we need to record 12 songs. They're saying we need 12 songs on the album, so we need to have 30 written, and then we need to slim it down to 12 or 10 or what, in their case, it's probably like 6 given the length of some of their songs. But it's a lot of time is spent firstly in writing and recording a large volume of songs, and then they really have to go through this heartbreaking process of whose songs make the final cut.
That's what I wish there was. I wish there was movies or shows on that.
Oh, there is.
Where they just take multiple bands and they go, how do you pick your children? Because that's essentially what it is. Like, how do you pick which songs make it and don't make it? I'm
one of my
always
favorite things to
fascinated by that.
watch, and you sometimes find them on YouTube, but a lot of people will release the kind of making of documentaries. That's one of my favorite things to go watch, is like the making of the album, because I'm fascinated to see what got dropped or the recording process. And Periphery do one for every album. They always do a making of documentary.
I'm gonna have to check them out. I've never heard of them. So is it more of, what kind of band are they? Because I know you listen to everything.
So the genre is called, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but the genre is called Djent, D-J-E-N-T.
Oh, okay, I know Djent.
It's like a very rhythmic, guitar-based metal.
Okay.
And I would say, for me at least, start with Hail Stan to play on Hail Satan. It's Hail Stan.
Okay. Yeah.
This was their last album. Start there. The new album, I think, is going to be a continuation from that. The stuff prior to Hail Stan is great, but I really felt like they found
that was their
moment
niche.
where they really found themselves, and like the album is just incredible.
I want to know, like, I've heard Djent a lot, and I know some of the the bands that are like affiliated with it. Like, how did they come up with that name? I
know it's so difficult to pronounce.
It stands for something.
I think it's the sound, maybe, because
like
because you palm mute the guitar, you put your palm on the lower part of the bridge, and that chug sound that is created for that style of music that creates that rhythmic sound is kind of like a jun sound. So maybe that's what it is. Because I remember watching something on YouTube and people were talking about it. They just kept saying Djent. And I'm like, what the hell? And then it occurred to me and I looked it up further. But I was like, that's such a weird name. For something. But I'll check them out. Yeah, no, they're good. Give them a shot. Periphery. You would not be a fan. Bethesda boys. I think they're from Bethesda originally. Oh, okay. Cool.
Awesome.
I got nothing.
Okay.
I don't listen to that type of music.
And by the way, your boy also this week got tickets to go see the Winery Dogs at the Tally Ho, which is a super group made up of Billy Sheehan on bass.
Oh, I can't. Can I still get tickets for that? Or
You should go with me, sir.
no, there's no chance.
Billy Sheehan played with David Lee Roth
I am not seeing that.
and Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater
I'm sure I can think of 900 other better things to do than see that show.
and Richie Kotzen on guitar. Awesome.
No,
It's gonna be fun.
no.
Good stuff.
You know,
Maybe
I
if it
don't.
was David Lee Roth,
yes,
but
he
the guy
would
that
know.
played with
You
David Lee
know
Roth,
how
He doesn't
many-
care about the guy
I
that played
haven't
with
bought a
David.
CD, an MP3, an album, or any piece of music in like 10 years, and I'm going to go to a show.
I will say these three guys are extremely proficient in their instruments. And so
I like singing. I don't like instruments.
I'm not gonna lie, Richie Kotzen kind of has a Chris Cornell type of sound to him. I think you'd appreciate it. You're coming with me to the Iron Maiden tribute band.
That
right?
I might go see because that may be interesting, and there may be some fun people there.
Eyes of
maybe
the
a
Nile.
cheater or
Got my
whatever.
ticket. Going to see him next week.
But
Anyway.
I'm not seeing that show. No.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna get you to more shows, sir. You're gonna be a music fan
No, I
by
don't.
the time
You know, I
we're-
don't like music.
By the time I'm done with you, you're gonna be
You know, I don't like music.
an expert.
I'm hoping to go to that show, but I'm still waiting to see. It depends. You know, my son plays
You know, I'm a sports
ice
guy.
hockey, as you know, and
Yeah.
that weekend we're trying to. They're right on the verge of like, did they make the playoffs? In which case, I'm going to be up. In
Do I
Florida.
have to pray for him to not win the playoffs so you can go with me, or
How much do you want me to suffer as a dad? Because I know.
I know, it's a big thing. So I
No,
don't want to root against him.
One thing I forgot to mention when you asked
Mhm.
about Creative Underground, we just secured a big win this week. So
Hmm.
there's two different leagues that we have in this area for youth hockey. One is the CBHL, one is the EJEPL.
Mhm.
That weekend of playoffs that I was just talking about is the EJEPL playoffs in Pennsylvania.
Huh.
The CBHL playoffs, the Chesapeake Bay Hockey League playoffs, are going to be
Mhm.
held here at Ion in
Oh,
Leesburg
cool.
the first
wow.
weekend of March. And your boy is live streaming the entire event Saturday,
Nice.
Sunday.
Damn.
Is your
It's-
son in one of those games, or
I don't think his team's going to make the CBHL playoffs,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately.
I was going to say we'll go watch.
Yeah, but you should come out anyway. It's going to be epic. I mean, some of the things that I was talking with the commissioner of the league earlier this week, some of the things that they have planned, it's going to be amazing. They're bringing in like big time commentators for the game, or sorry, announcers, not commentators. 'cause-
Commentator, same thing.
Well, the announcers that'll be like calling the penalties,
Oh,
the names
got
of the
it. Okay,
kids
then
as they
the-
come out on the ice and stuff. I'll be calling the games over the live stream because we're going to be streaming all the
Mhm.
the coverage over the internet. But no, the guy from the Hershey Bears is coming down to
Sweet.
Oh,
do that. They're hoping to bring some Washington Capitals into the building too. I mean, they're really turning it up a notch this year.
We need to be there. Remember, we had Mike, the sports guy, on our show.
Yeah.
And he got his gig because the one announcer wasn't able to do it. So they were like, "You're
Uh-huh.
on now." If we happen to be sitting next to the Hershey Bears guy, and for some reason he falls ill,
So
or
we want to
something-
hope a guy dies.
You guys can come up in the press box with me and help me call the game. I'm going to be calling games from 7 a.m. till almost 11 o'clock at night. You think my voice is going to hold up for 2 days of
Boom.
doing that?
You know, my partner in crime over here went to school to be a sports announcer. This could be-
By the way,
this
I
could be his
realized
big break.
quickly how hard it was, announcing those guys' names and numbers. And
I could see you
it's-
doing that. I
Yeah,
really
I
could.
could.
really wanted to, but the names thing freaked me out in hockey and like other sports. And I was like, I can't keep. It's impossible with the hockey names. They're really hard to
Could they
pronounce.
not like write it out phonetically for you though?
They could, but then I mean it. Plus, it moves quick. It's very fast paced. Like football isn't a lot easier to announce, right? Because you can see a play develop, and you could have something planned almost. But hockey, it flips. Like it flips so quickly, right? The puck could be stolen. They could be
that's
coming
for-
back
that's
the
for-
other way, and
Mhm.
That's for commentating the game.
Yeah.
They're like calling the play-by-play. I
Yeah.
could see you as like being like the announcer that's like,
a color guy that
Yeah.
I could do.
no, like the guy that like Wes Johnson for the Capitals that sits in the box and like every time there's a goal, he's like, number
Right, that I can
16
do,
goal
yeah.
scored by
You could
that
totally
would be
do that.
you.
That's
Like
a color guy, right? And I can see, well, this was set up over here because Ovechkin passed the puck.
No. The guy who once the score
In the
happens,
arena.
Oh, once the score happened.
they say the
number
name.
15.
Yeah. You could do that.
the guy that in the arena, is
Yeah.
announcing the game, and as they come out on the ice, like,
That I
now
would love
stand
to
for the
do.
national anthem. That guy.
That I would love
You
to
could
do.
do that.
Your
sir.
voice is perfect for that.
I think my problem with it is because I can't really read and talk at the same time. I would be making kids' names up. I'm like, Shecky Finkelstein is coming out. And they're like, Shecky Finkelstein? And I'm like, it would be a bunch of Jewish names on these teams.
Shecky Finkelstein.
Yeah, it would be just the first name I could come up with. It wouldn't be the real kid's name.
Ira Goldstein.
Yes, exactly. Here, and then it would be like Eli Roth, and then Steven Spielberg coming out. I would just be like pulling out celebrity
Shecky
names.
Spielberg.
Yeah. So I might fail at that part, but no, I think you could do that.
We got a lot of ideas in the show.
We
a lot
do.
of ideas.
This show's been amazing.
The idea show.
We owe it all to Andy for this one.
Yes, we do.
He bring the heat today.
So all music, all tech support, all t-shirts for Subfacts is provided by our friend Andy at Creative Underground. He runs a state-of-the-art production studio in our hometown of Leesburg, Virginia. You and me and everybody can go find out more at his website, but that's not all. He does custom music creation. He does live streaming events. He does youth sports, corporate events, weddings, concerts, and pro karaoke. If you need a tech guy, an audio guy, you got to give him a call. Go to his website, www.creativeunderground.co,
not .com.
And on the t-shirt,
he created my I was about to say he created my all-time favorite t-shirt now. I'm going to be wearing it way too much.
The not.com on the t-shirt is the
yes. People are literally going to be like, "Really, you wearing that shirt again?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am."
F off, yes.
Yes, I love it. I'm wearing it to work. Don't think I'm not. So, are you moonlighting, sir? Yes, I am. And so, I love it.
It's nice.
I can't love that shirt any more than I do.
Awesome.
So it's fantastic. So thank you.
Thanks again.
Andy.
Of course.
Next we got Ben from KStreetPhotographyDC.com. We need Ben to come in the show too at some point because we haven't seen him in
he's
been seeing him in
action.
a while. But he's
always taking pictures. That's his problem.
Last week he was taking pictures of car accidents. This week he's got headshots up on Facebook. My man is everywhere. Like, once again,
he literally knows no bounds.
I keep saying this. If you think about cameras or taking a picture or whatever, Ben should just automatically pop in your head. That's really how it should be. Ben is just a master at, taking pictures. He's an award-winning image builder and FAA certified pilot for drones, specializing in commercial real estate marketing, business headshots, corporate events, team imaging, drone cinematography and imaging. He pretty much does it all. He's even worked with Andy from Creative Underground.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Yes. And so, yes, Ben, once again, think of pictures, think of Ben.
I always do.
Boom.
Then, to close it off, your boy did he ever come down the table and says, I'm going you know what? I'm going to clean cars.
No, my wife was like, get out and clean other people's cars. No, he we've told that story in there, but no, he probably did. I'm telling you, he had an entrepreneurial spirit from
and
day
it all
one.
led to Big Dog Auto Detailing.
Exactly. From day one, he is the go-getter. He was the entrepreneur that wanted to do everything.
Hey, it paid off because if you really want the vehicle you drive, whether it's a car, truck, boat, or like some sort of massive vehicle that transports tons of people,
horse trailers.
Exactly. You have to go to Big Dog Auto Detailing. Give him a call now because he fills up quick. It's 571-233-8716. I swear any vehicle you bring him will come out looking pristine on the back half.
Yep. Big Dog Auto Detailing. 571-233-8716.
And tell him Subfacts sent you.
I want anybody to do that. I think with I know Andy probably gets it all the time and he's just being modest with us, but I mean, I want people to call in to
tell him Subfacts.
It would make my day if somebody actually just called in and was like, I heard about you guys on Subfacts and I need either pictures or audio or something. I think that'd be dope. So anyway, to help Rob out, who's listening to the end of this show,
We were supposed to do in the start of the show. Can we
did.
rewind?
No,
Let's
we
go
did.
back to the beginning.
We did it in the beginning. So if you want to write into our show, and we are worldwide because we're getting.
Yeah.
I look at the
Blowing
numbers.
up.
We're in India. We're in Germany. We're pretty much all over the place. If you want to write in, don't be shy. Write in at subfactspodcast@gmail.com.
Don't you have any Indian names or something like Pindar or
Jugdish?
Any update on our Ukrainian fans?
No, and I feel for them. It really bothers me because they were our biggest market in Europe. And once the war started, we lost.
We lost.
Yeah, and what was sad was we were in double digits.
Yeah.
And
It was really going strong.
Yeah, we were doing extremely well in the Ukraine. But hopefully they're safe. Hopefully we'll get them back.
Yeah, we do. We need them back.
And but I do want to give a shout out. This is a Ukrainian guy, and I'm addicted to his channel on YouTube. It's called Metal Pilgrim, and he talks about all things metal. He's from the Ukraine, and you can buy his merch. And all of his merch goes towards the war efforts in Ukraine, and he's extremely knowledgeable. And so he talks about it. He has a whole series on Iron Maiden, but he talks Judas Priest. He talks all of the people.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your boy.
And I've been watching.
Why don't we interview him?
We can try to get him. Brian, make it happen. It's Metal Pilgrim
There you go, Brian. Make it happen.
Channel on YouTube. But once again, if you want to support, the efforts, you can actually buy his merch. I was thinking actually about buying a sweatshirt because I think the sweatshirt's pretty dope.
Metal Pilgrim?
Yes, it's Metal Pilgrim on YouTube. So help our friends in the Ukraine. I'm addicted to that channel, so it's great. Back to us. If you want to learn about us and pick up our merch, go to subfactspodcast.com.
We got to sell this shirt on our merch. We have to.
What shirt?
The new shirt.
Oh, I know. I love it. We got to figure out how we can pull that off.
We have to. There's got to be a way.
We got to meet with the powers that be and see if we can pull that off, because I think everybody's going to want this shirt. It's dope.
It is. It's tight.
But if you want other shirts and other merch, go to subfactspodcast.com and learn more about us. See some pictures Ben taken, all that kind of good stuff. We are also on YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcast, pretty much anywhere where there's podcasts. We were at the trivia thing last night. And the guy was like, "Well, how can I listen to you?" I'm like, "We're everywhere."
Everywhere. Omnipresent.
We're all over the place. And the funny thing is, he looks at Mooney, he goes, "So what's your podcast about?" And Mooney goes, "This."
Yeah.
I was like, trivia?
Yeah. Like all this stuff on trivia. They had movies, they had some sports, they had current events. And I'm like, this is what we talk about.
He's really good at selling the show, folks. So anyway, so it's time for this to end. On that note, thank you, Andy, for joining the show tonight.
Hey, thanks
and
for
the shirts.
Everybody stay safe out there, and we will see you next week. Boom.